The integumentary system. The integumentary system is the body's largest organ system that comprises the skin and its associated structures, such as the hair, nail, and sweat glands. The skin is the body's first line of defense against the environment, as it provides a barrier that protects the body from infection and injury. It is also a dynamic structure that responds to changes in the environment and helps regulate body temperature. The skin has three main layers: the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous tissue. The epidermis is the topmost layer of the skin that provides a waterproof barrier and creates our skin tone. The dermis, beneath the epidermis, contains tough connective tissue, hair follicles, and sweat glands. The subcutaneous layer consists of fat and connective tissue. Each skin layer has important functions such as protection, sensation, heat regulation, control of evaporation, and synthesis of vitamin D. Common disorders of the integumentary system includes acne, albinism, basal cell carcinoma, dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis, shingles, and vitiligo. Acne is a skin disorder that occurs when hair follicles become clogged with oil and dead skin cells. Blackheads, whiteheads, and pimples are symptoms of acne. Albinism is a genetic condition where people are born without the usual pigment in their skin, hair, and eyes. It is mainly a social and cosmetic concern and does not affect the longevity of an individual. Basal cell carcinoma is a type of skin cancer that forms on the skin. It usually occurs on the areas of skin that have been exposed to the sun. Basal cell carcinoma begins in the basal cells, a type of cell within the skin that produces new skin cells as old ones die. Layers of the skin are affected by this type of skin cancer. Dermatitis is a general term that describes an inflammation of the skin. Some people with dermatitis develop an infection. There are several different types of dermatitis, including atopic, contact, and seborrheic dermatitis. Eczema is the most common type of dermatitis, which means atopic dermatitis. Eczema is caused by a dysfunction in the body's immune system. Psoriasis is a skin disorder that causes skin cells to multiply up to 10 times faster than normal. This makes the skin build up to form raised, red patches that are covered in white scales, which may come with itch or pain. Shingles is a viral infection that causes a painful rash. Although shingles can occur anywhere on the body, it most often appears as a single stripe of blisters that wraps around either the left or the right side of the torso. Vitiligo is a long-term condition where pale white patches develop on the skin. It's caused by the lack of melanin, which is the pigment in skin. It is not clear exactly why the pigment cells fail or die. It may be an autoimmune condition, where the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own cells. The signs and symptoms of skin disorders might be different, but it is important to seek medical attention early to prevent worsening of the conditions. This is because the earlier the conditions diagnosed and treated, the better the results and lesser complications might happen. Skin layers. The skin is composed of two main layers: the epidermis, the outermost layer, and the dermis, a layer found underneath the epidermis. However, there is a third layer called the hypodermis, which is a subcutaneous layer that mainly consists of adipose and loose connective tissues. The epidermis is avascular, which means it does not contain blood vessels. Instead, it receives its nutrients by diffusion from the dermis. It is made up of 5 different layers, each with a specific function. The outermost layer is called the stratum corneum. It is made up of dead cells that form a waterproof barrier, which protects the underlying tissues and prevents fluid loss from the body. Although it is the thickest layer of the epidermis, it is shed continuously and replaced by the underlying layer. The second layer of the epidermis is known as the stratum lucidum. This layer is only present in the thick skin of areas such as the soles of the feet and palms of the hand. It is made up of dead cells too, but they appear clear when viewed under the microscope, hence the name of the layer. The third layer is called the stratum granulosum. This very thin layer consists of cells that contain dark granules. The granules are seen in the cytoplasm of the cells when they are stained and viewed under the microscope. The main function of this layer is to produce lipids or fats that are eventually released to form a waterproof barrier. Underneath the stratum granulosum lies the stratum spinosum, the second thickest layer of the epidermis. The cells in this layer are joined together by bridges called demosomes. These structures form a strong bond between the cells, giving the epidermis its overall strength and flexibility. The innermost layer is the stratum basale, which is a single layer of column-shaped cells. These cells are constantly dividing and growing. As new cells are formed, existing cells are pushed from the base layer towards the surface of the epidermis. These old cells become flatter as they move outwards and eventually are shed. The dermis is a layer composed of connective tissues and has a rich supply of blood vessels and nerves. It contains hair roots, sebaceous glands, oil glands connected to hair follicles, sweat glands, lymphatic vessels, and blood vessels. These lead to and from the different layers of the skin. The dermis also contains tough connective tissues made up of collagen and elastin. Collagen gives the skin its strength, while elastin helps the skin to stretch and then return to its original state after stretching. The dermis is also rich in immune cells, which help to fight off infections. These cells are associated with the blood vessels, including the small capillaries that supply the dermal tissue with nutrients and oxygen. Several important structures are found within the dermis, including Meissner's corpuscles and Pacinian corpuscles. These detect sensations like pressure and touch, and together with the nerve endings, help to provide the body with a means of identifying the properties of objects in our environment and alert us to any potential harm or danger to our body surfaces. Lastly, the dermis can be divided into two layers, the papillary dermis and the reticular dermis. The papillary dermis is the thinner and more superficial of the two and has numerous finger-like projections that extend upwards into the epidermis. These projections are called dermal papillae and create the ridges you see on the surface of your skin. The sweat glands and the capillaries important for the nourishment of the epidermis are found in this layer. The reticular dermis, on the other hand, is thicker and contains tougher, more dense connective tissues. It is found underneath the papillary dermis and has a more regular structure. Functions of the skin. The skin has 5 key functions: synthesis of vitamin D, immunity, sensation, heat regulation, and protection. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin that is not found naturally in many food groups. However, we can obtain it from certain fortified foods and through the action of sunlight on the skin. When the ultraviolet light in sunlight penetrates the skin, it kickstarts the body's production of vitamin D. Modern life, with more people working and spending leisure time indoors, means that there is a reduced opportunity for the skin to produce vitamin D. This is compounded by widespread advice to use sunscreens with high sun protection factors, which can further reduce the skin's ability to make vitamin D. Think about how you will retain this key information about the important functions of the skin and the fascinating ability of the skin to produce vitamin D when faced with a question on this topic in your exams. Skin cells and immune cells in the skin work together to protect the body from infection. The skin can also act as an early warning system. The presence of certain types of cells in the skin can alert the body to the fact that it has been invaded by an infection. This is known as the skin-associated lymphoid tissue. The skin contains a variety of sensory receptors that provide the brain with information about the environment around us. For example, the nerve endings in the skin can detect pressure and communicate to the brain that the skin is being touched. Without these important feedback pathways, we would not be able to react to changes in our environment quickly or effectively. The skin helps to regulate body temperature. In hot conditions, the sweat glands in the skin become more active, releasing sweat onto the skin's surface. When sweat evaporates, it helps to cool the body. In cold conditions, blood vessels in the skin constrict, helping to conserve body heat. The skin acts as a physical barrier, protecting the body from potential physical and chemical attacks from the external environment. For example, the top layer of the skin, known as the epidermis, contains cells that are continuously shedding and being replaced. This means that any harmful bacteria or other substances that have found their way onto the skin surface are quickly shed and therefore cannot get through to the body. Another important aspect of the integumentary system is the crucial role skin plays in helping to maintain homeostasis. It's time to level up your skincare product expertise. Are you confident explaining vitamins A, C, and E to your clients? Stop guessing. Get the Essential Guide by Greg Resha. Understanding Vitamins in Skincare is available now at aestheticsmagazine.com.